Ladies, the first rule of life is this: you are the prize. Never let anyone make you feel otherwise. If he took you for granted, let him sit in the emptiness of your absence. You don't chase, you replace. Ladies, listen to me carefully. You are the prize. Not an option, not a backup plan, not someone who waits around hoping to be chosen. The moment you understand this, your entire world shifts. The way you walk, the way you talk, the way you carry yourself, it all changes because you no longer seek validation from someone who doesn't see your worth. Instead, you become your own source of power. And trust me, that is a force no one can ignore. When someone takes you for granted, it's not a reflection of your value. It's a reflection of their blindness. It's so easy to fall into the trap of thinking, maybe if I love harder, if I try more, if I give them another chance, they'll finally see me for who I am. But let me tell you something. Your worth is not up for negotiation. It's not something that needs convincing. The right people will recognize it without you having to beg for their attention. And the wrong ones? They will only see it when you're gone. There comes a time when you have to stop proving yourself to people who were never meant to see your greatness. You could have given them the stars, the moon, and the entire galaxy, and they still would have asked for more. Some people don't appreciate what they have until they lose it, and that's not your burden to carry. That's a lesson life will teach them, not you. You see, the problem isn't that you weren't enough. The problem is that they weren't capable of valuing what was right in front of them. And when that happens, you don't shrink yourself to fit into their version of love. You rise, you elevate. You remind yourself that you were never meant to beg for attention, for time, for love. You were meant to be celebrated, cherished, and respected. Walking away isn't easy, but staying where you are not valued is far worse. Every second you spend questioning your worth because of someone who couldn't see it is a second wasted. The truth is, you deserve a love that doesn't leave you wondering, a love that doesn't make you feel like an afterthought, a love that chooses you every single day. And if someone couldn't do that, then their chapter in your life has ended. Period. I know it hurts, I know it stings, but pain is temporary. Self-respect is forever. And the moment you choose yourself, the moment you say, enough is enough, I will not lower my standards to be loved, I will not settle for anything less than I deserve, that's the moment your life truly begins. And here's the most beautiful part. When you stop chasing those who don't see your worth, the right people start showing up. The universe has a funny way of working in your favor when you finally decide to walk in your power. Suddenly you attract the energy that matches yours. People who respect you, people who admire you, people who see you, really see you, without you having to prove a damn thing. So let him feel the loss of you. Let him sit in the emptiness of your absence. Let him wake up one day and realize that he had something rare, something irreplaceable, and he let it slip through his fingers. And when he does, don't look back. Don't lower yourself to teach him the lesson. Life will do that for you. You were never meant to be ordinary. You were never meant to dim your light to make someone else comfortable. You were meant to shine, to take up space, to be the kind of woman who walks into a room and commands attention, not because she seeks it, but because she knows she deserves it. So stand tall, fix your crown, and remember, the right people will see your worth without you having to remind them. And the wrong ones, they'll only realize it when you're long gone. There is a kind of power in silence, a strength in walking away with your head held high, without the need for explanations, without the need for closure. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is remove yourself from the space where you are no longer valued. Not with anger, not with tears, but with quiet confidence. That silence, that absence, will speak louder than any words ever could. Too often, we think that if we just explain a little more, if we just make them see our side, if we just hold on a little longer, things will change. But here's the truth. The right person won't need endless explanations to realize your worth. The right person won't put you in a position where you have to beg for love, attention, or respect. And the moment you realize that is the moment you take back your power. Walking away is not weakness. It is the ultimate sign of strength. It says, I know who I am, I know what I deserve, and I refuse to settle for anything less than that. You do not need to slam doors or make dramatic exits. You do not need to send long messages listing every way they've failed you. Your absence will say everything they need to hear. Because one day they will look around and you won't be there. One day they will reach for the love you once gave so freely and it will be gone. That's when they will feel the loss, not when you're still trying to explain it to them. It's human nature to want closure, to want an apology, to want that final conversation that makes everything make sense. But sometimes the closure you seek isn't in their words, it's in your decision to walk away and never look back. It's in realizing that you don't need them to understand what they did wrong in order for you to heal. Because let's be honest, if they truly cared, they wouldn't have put you in a position where you felt the need to walk away in the first place. So instead of waiting for an apology that may never come, instead of hoping they will suddenly realize your worth and come running back, shift your focus. Walk away not to teach them a lesson, but to remind yourself of yours. You deserve a love that chooses you in the daylight, not just in the moments of convenience. You deserve consistency, not breadcrumbs, and you deserve to be with someone who sees your value in your presence, not just in your absence. There is something incredibly graceful about a woman who walks away without bitterness, a woman who does not let heartbreak turn her into someone she's not, a woman who does not need to seek revenge because she knows that life has a way of making people realize what they lost. That is true power. The ability to say, I gave you the best of me, and if that wasn't enough for you, then that's your loss, not mine. When you walk away with grace, you send a message that cannot be ignored. You show that you were never desperate for love. You were simply willing to give it to the wrong person. And when you stop giving, when you remove your energy, when you reclaim yourself, that is when they start to feel your absence like a weight. That is when they start to realize that you were the best thing they ever had, and they let it slip away. And here's the best part. By the time they realize what they lost, you'll be too busy building yourself to care. You will have healed, grown, and flourished into a version of yourself that no longer needs their validation. You will have created a life so full, so beautiful, that their regret will have no place in it. Because walking away is not about making them miss you. It's about making sure you never miss yourself again. It's about making sure that you never lose yourself in trying to hold on to someone who wasn't meant to stay. It's about choosing peace over chaos, self-respect over temporary affection, and your future over a past that no longer serves you. So let them feel the emptiness you once filled. Let them sit in the silence that your absence creates. Let them wonder why they ever thought they could take you for granted. But you, keep walking. Keep rising, keep becoming everything you were meant to be. Because the greatest revenge is not anger, it's not bitterness, it's becoming so happy, so whole, so untouchable, that when they finally realize what they lost, all they can do is watch from a distance, knowing they will never get it back. There is a moment after heartbreak when everything feels like it's crumbling. The pain is raw, the silence is deafening, and the weight of disappointment sits heavy on your chest. It's easy to sink into sadness, to let yourself be consumed by the loss, to believe that somehow you weren't enough. But let me tell you something, this is not the time to break down. This is the time to level up. There are two choices when you face pain. You can let it destroy you or you can let it fuel you. The difference between those who stay stuck in heartbreak and those who rise stronger than ever is their decision to use the pain rather than be used by it. Every tear you shed, every sleepless night, every moment of doubt, turn it into power. Use it as motivation to become the best version of yourself, not for them but for you. The biggest mistake you can make is sitting around waiting for them to regret losing you. That's not where your energy should go. Instead, pour that energy into yourself. Take all the love you once gave so freely and redirect it back to you. You spend so much time trying to be enough for someone else. Now it's time to be enough for yourself. Start with your mind. Read books that inspire you. Challenge yourself to learn something new and expand your vision beyond the past. The best revenge isn't proving them wrong. It's proving to yourself that they were never the reason for your success, your happiness, or your self-worth. Everything you need is already within you. You just have to believe it. Then focus on your body, not for anyone else, not to make them miss you, but because you deserve to feel good in your own skin. Exercise, move, dance, take care of yourself like you're the most important person in your life, because you are. When you look in the mirror, you should see strength, resilience, and confidence, not someone defined by a past relationship. Let every workout, every step forward be a reminder that you are building yourself back up, stronger than before. Your energy is your greatest asset. Protect it. Stop checking their social media. Stop wondering what they're doing. Stop giving them space in your mind. The person who hurt you doesn't deserve to live rent-free in your thoughts. Instead, fill your life with things that make your soul come alive. Travel, create, explore, meet new people. Chase your dreams with an intensity that leaves no room for regret. Leveling up isn't about pretending you don't care. It's about realizing you deserve better and actually doing something about it. It's about making decisions that put you first, about choosing peace over drama, about surrounding yourself with people who uplift you instead of drain you. The more you invest in yourself, the less you will even think about what you lost. And here's the magic in it all. The moment you stop chasing, the moment you stop waiting, the moment you truly step into your power, that's when life starts to shift. The right people, the right opportunities, the right love, they start finding their way to you. Not because you were trying to prove anything, but because you finally became aligned with who you were meant to be. And as for them, they will notice. They always do. There will be a moment when they look back and realize that the person they once knew, the person they took for granted, is now untouchable. And by then, you won't even care. You'll be too busy living, growing, thriving. You'll be too focused on your own success to even think about the past. That's the beauty of leveling up. It makes the past irrelevant. So don't break down. Don't let the pain keep you stuck. Instead, rise, evolve, become the person you were always meant to be. Because the best way to make them feel the loss is not through words, not through revenge, but by becoming so great that losing you becomes the greatest mistake they ever made. There is an undeniable power in walking away, in removing yourself from a space where you are no longer valued. When someone takes you for granted, when they treat your love and presence as something that will always be there, they never stop to consider what life would be like without you. They assume you will stay, that you will keep forgiving, that you will always be available when they decide to show up. But the moment you leave, the moment you go silent, the moment your presence is replaced by your absence, that is when they truly start to feel your worth. You don't have to yell, you don't have to argue, you don't have to explain over and over again why you deserve better. Sometimes the most powerful statement you can make is to simply remove yourself and never look back. Because when you leave, you create space for them to feel what they never appreciated before. And trust me, they will feel it. At first, they might not notice. They might think you're playing a game, waiting for you to come back like you always did. They might assume that a little time apart will make you miss them so much that you'll reach out. But as the days go by, as the silence lingers, as they check their phone and see no messages, as they realize you are no longer waiting for them, something shifts. That's when regret starts to set in. Suddenly, the absence of your presence becomes impossible to ignore. The conversations they once brushed off, the love they once took lightly, the comfort of knowing you were always there, it all starts to haunt them. They replay the moments when you gave them your best and they realize they gave you their worst. They see you moving on, glowing, thriving, and they are left with nothing but the memory of what they lost. And the best part, by the time they realize it, you will have already moved on. You will have healed. You will have discovered your worth. You will have built a life so full, so rich, so beautiful that there is no room for the past. Because the moment you stop chasing, the moment you stop waiting, the moment you choose yourself over someone who never truly chose you, that's the moment your life begins again. There is a reason why people say you don't know what you have until it's gone. Some people only understand your value in your absence because they were too blind to see it in your presence. They never expected you to leave. They assumed you would always be an option. But when you finally decide that you are not an option, that you are not someone who waits around to be chosen, everything changes. Your silence speaks volumes. It says, I am done explaining. I am done begging for love. I am done waiting for you to realize what you had. It forces them to sit with the reality of losing you, to deal with the consequences of their actions. And that is a lesson they will never forget. But here's the truth. This isn't about making them miss you. This isn't about hoping they regret their choices. This is about reclaiming your peace, your power, your self-respect. It's about understanding that you were never meant to beg for a place in someone's life. You were meant to be cherished, valued, and chosen effortlessly. So let them feel your absence. Let them sit in the silence that your presence once filled. Let them realize when it's far too late that they lost someone rare, someone irreplaceable, someone who gave them a love they will never find again. And when that moment comes, when they finally understand what they let go, you'll be too far ahead to care. There's a powerful truth in life. You don't have to seek revenge. Karma will do it for you. When someone wrongs you, betrays your trust, or takes you for granted, the immediate reaction is to prove a point. You want them to feel the pain they caused, to understand what they lost, to regret every moment they treated you unfairly. But the reality is, nothing you say or do will teach them that lesson better than life itself. When you focus on getting back at someone, you are still tied to them emotionally. You are still giving them space in your mind, your energy, and your heart. And honestly, they don't deserve that. The best thing you can do is let go and trust that the universe has a way of balancing things out. Because here's the thing. No one ever gets away with mistreating a good person. People often think they can take advantage of others without consequence. They think they can play games, lie, cheat, manipulate, and walk away without ever feeling the weight of their actions. But what they don't realize is that everything we put out into the world comes back to us. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually, karma makes sure they experience the same pain they caused. And the most satisfying part? You won't even have to lift a finger. You won't have to send angry messages. You won't have to seek revenge. You won't have to lower yourself to their level, because while they are out there thinking they got away with hurting you, life will eventually put them in a situation where they understand exactly how it feels. And when that moment comes, you won't even be around to witness it, because you'll be too busy thriving. Instead of wasting time trying to make them regret losing you, focus on yourself, work on your goals, chase your dreams, become so successful, so radiant, so full of life that their absence becomes irrelevant. There is nothing more powerful than moving on without bitterness, without anger. Just pure growth and success. Because when you rise, when you level up, when you step into your power, that's when they feel the loss the most. One day they look at you and realize that the person they hurt is now untouchable. That the love they took for granted is now being cherished by someone else. That the one person who gave them everything is now out of their reach. And that's when regret will hit them harder than anything you could have ever said or done. But by then you won't even care. You will be too happy, too fulfilled, too focused on your own journey to even think about the past. And that is the true beauty of karma. You don't have to wait for it. You don't have to wish for it. You don't have to do anything. Just trust that the universe always keeps its balance. So don't waste your energy on anger. Don't waste your time plotting ways to make them feel your pain. Instead, use that energy to build the life they will regret not being a part of. Because in the end, the best revenge is no revenge at all. It's simply becoming everything they were too blind to appreciate. And when karma finally comes knocking on their door, that's no longer your problem. There was a time when you gave everything, your love, your time, your patience, your heart, to someone who never truly saw you. You love deeply, completely, and without hesitation, believing that if you just loved them enough, they would finally understand your worth. But they didn't. They took your love for granted, treated it like an option, and made you feel like you weren't enough. And now, here you are, picking up the pieces, wondering why you weren't enough for them. But here's the truth. It was never about you not being enough. It was about them never being capable of receiving the love you had to give. Some people don't know how to hold something rare, something real. Some people are so used to inconsistency, to shallow connections, to temporary affection, that when they are given something as deep and pure as your love, they don't know what to do with it. So instead of sitting here questioning yourself, wondering why they didn't love you the way you loved them, I want you to do something different. I want you to love yourself the way they couldn't. Love yourself in a way that heals every part of you that they neglected. Love yourself so fiercely that you no longer crave their validation, their attention, or their regret. Love yourself so completely that their absence feels like a gift rather than a loss. Start by treating yourself the way you always wished they would have treated you. Did you want consistency? Be consistent with yourself. Did you want to be prioritized? Put yourself first. Did you want to feel chosen? Choose yourself every single day. Because the reality is, the love you kept waiting for from them is the love you should have been giving to yourself all along. Take yourself on that date you always wished they had planned. Buy yourself the flowers they never thought to bring. Speak to yourself with kindness, with patience, with admiration, the way you once spoke to them. Be your own safe place, your own biggest supporter, your own greatest love. Because when you do that, you stop looking for love in places that were never meant to hold it. And the most beautiful part, once you learn to love yourself, you will never again tolerate someone who doesn't. You will no longer beg for attention, chase after people who don't see you, or shrink yourself to fit into spaces that were never meant for you. You will walk with confidence, knowing that your love is not something to be taken lightly. They may realize one day what they lost. They may look back and regret the way they treated you, but by then you'll be too in love with yourself to even care. Because once you start loving yourself the way they couldn't, you'll see that their love was never the kind you needed in the first place. You were always enough. You were always worthy. And the moment you start treating yourself like the rare, incredible soul that you are, you will never again settle for a love that makes you question it. The pain of losing you, oh, he'll feel it. But by then you'll be